Did you know that 95% of comedy anime have a chance of making you want to die? I watched Chainsaw Man the other day and I was laughing my ass off, and then the author said, "Теперь я буду левитировать. Теперь я буду левитировать." Then proceeded to murder 90% of the cast. And that had me thinking, how come I enjoyed watching all these characters die? I mean, another series notorious for killing off a lot of their cast is Akame ga Kill, and that wasn't so cash money. Cyberpunk did something along those lines as well, and while it was considerably better, I personally feel like there was a lot left to be desired towards the end. So why is it when Chainsaw Man does it, I can't help but nut all over my screen?
What the heck?
I think it's because I was dying of laughter right before. But if you're like me, not many anime can manage to intentionally make you laugh. I think there are many comedy series that are great, like Saiki K or Grand Blue, but those really never take themselves seriously. So when you get a series with not only the comedy to make you love the characters, but the real nitty-gritty titty-kitty of a story, it adds a layer of investment. And if you're like me, you'd love to find a series with great action and comedy. So let me introduce you to a masterpiece. But first, I want you to imagine you're in an anime right now. You're a ninja, and one of your greatest allies was just ambushed, and they need your help immediately. You're in the area, but for some reason you cannot help. What may be the reason for this? Maybe you got ambushed as well, or you're really injured, right?
Like, bro, why can't people just be fucking normal?
Meet Zenzo, known by some as the Hemorrhoid Ninja. He's considered a fan favorite side character among the show's fandom. What if I told you there were 24 characters above him in all the popularity polls? You might be thinking how the hell you can beat someone named the Hemorrhoid Ninja. It's because it's a cast of characters from a top 5 ranked series on my anime list. Yes, I am talking about the greatest thing to come out since my uncle in '97, and that is Gintama. If you watch anime for long enough, you probably heard of this series, but if you haven't, you might want to watch it just for my boy Zenzo. But I'm not going to pretend like the show is absolutely flawless. The beginning is rough, and when I say rough, I don't mean it's a little annoying. I mean the first 2 episodes are legitimately filler, and even when you skip those, the earlier jokes in production can make you join the straight-faced gang for a little bit, and I'm not going to deny that. But if you stick with it, the payoff is insane. The author gets into his groove with the comedy, and the animation gets fantastic. Let me tell you about that time Will Smith shows up and starts reciting the Obama campaign slogan.
Yes, we can.
Most of the time, Battle Shonen series start off with characters who haven't experienced much life and they're trying to achieve something, like Tanjiro or Deku. And don't get me wrong, they fit their series. But the difference between those series and Gintama is that isn't the case. The main character Gintoki is a veteran samurai who has fought multiple wars, but that's all we know about him. All he wants to do now is live a peaceful life, therefore he needs money and starts a business. And as you're watching all the comedy scenes, it seems like everybody's just messing around, but inevitably, every now and then something about his past comes up. At some point you get introduced to some of Gintoki's allies, and some are friends and others are literally the spawn of the devil. Once certain arcs are said and done, this not only raises the question for the characters around Gintoki, but for the audience as well, and that's who the hell is this guy? You watch many moments which all lead up to what ended up being one of the most anticipated backstories in all of Shonen Jump history. In the beginning, we would get pure comedy episodes meant to introduce the cast. We start to get a few serious episodes as well, and they get more and more intense as time goes on. And once certain characters hit their breaking point, you get some of the most hype moments you won't be able to experience in any other series. Imagine one second you're watching a crew of aliens come down in a penis-shaped spaceship, and the next you see this. These moments stick out so much more than the average fight scene from any battle shonen, and there's a specific method behind it. When we see what we usually perceive as comedy become serious, it becomes way more intense than if it was just serious from the beginning. For example, if a comedic relief character were to die like they have in Attack on Titan or My Hero Academia, there's a new layer of intensity, basically like there's no more fun in games anymore. There are many ways of using this type of method in a series, and some of your favorites might have taken advantage of this. Luffy from One Piece being a goofball throughout the whole story makes the scene where he breaks down into tears so much more meaningful. Or Goku, who borderline fingered anybody within 10 meters of him at the start of the series, putting everything on the line to protect the world, hits home a lot harder than if we just saw someone like Gon doing the same thing. And that's not to discredit Gon as a character, he just isn't one that fits the category. Comedy always seems to make you more invested not just into an anime character, but into anything. There's a reason why people prefer someone who can make you laugh over someone who can't. You might have experienced this firsthand. If someone is funny to you, you naturally begin to like them more as a person, and when you take advantage of that fact in a fictional story, you get fan favorites like Luffy, Goku, Denji, Gojo, and especially Gintoki. Gintama centers around comedy a lot more than regular shonen series, and that may be the reason why watching Gintoki get revenge for a fallen friend, or be put into a situation where he has to kill somebody he loves, means so much more to the audience than just any plot development. And that reminds me about how all I've talked about so far is the appeal of the main character, but the beauty of this series is that he's one of so many greats you'll find, since this aspect applied to everybody. There are so many others that you might find way more interesting and funny. For example, Kagura, who's mostly a big goofy goober, has a really deep backstory of her own. She's the only main character that's an alien, so if she's in the middle of one of those more serious arcs and she snaps, we got Hijigata, the police officer who sucks mayo in his free time, Sarutobi, a stalker, Kondo, a dumbass, who's also a stalker, and these only scratch the surface. And it's not like the series doesn't have pure badass characters, because Kamui and Takasugi both have amazing writing, my ad. Don't use comedy to get you invested at all. Yet they're still at the top of many people's favorite character lists. So even if you're someone who doesn't really enjoy the series, there will be aspects that you like because of Gintama's variety. Now the fact of the matter is, the series is 367 episodes, and the average useful member of society does not have the time for that. Since nobody here falls under that category, you should give it a try, and if you don't like it but like the comedy to serious concept I've been talking about, there's always Chainsaw Man and One Punch Man, which I might do separate videos on. Anyways, that's all. If you liked the video, hit the like button. Just like the Boeing 767-223ER hit one of the Twin Towers.